and I was having out of body experiences, which my brothers and sisters would tell me about. And we were all in the room with you, and you suddenly said, "I'm taller than all of you. I'm on the ceiling. I'm up
Mm-hmm.
here. Hey, I'm up here." And then you started talking to somebody. We had no idea what you were talking about. And then suddenly your fever broke and you were fine. "What's wrong?" I said, "They left me." He says, "You don't worry. They've already turned around. They're coming back." Now, how would he know that, right? How would he know that
Right.
that was the case? I was having experiences talking to people outside of the body, and yet I was in the room with them.
So, John, thank you so much for taking time to let me talk to you. And I appreciate your graciousness and understanding about scheduling. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm glad to do it. I'm always happy to talk with someone who's trying to make a positive impact on the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you certainly do. That's for certain. I've watched your
Oh,
videos and I've read things, all your stuff. I look at your website and I feel like that is your mission to feel like someone who's been in contact with you or watched your videos feels not judged and feels a sense of love. So
well, thank you. I do think that my mission is to help people find their own divinity within and to step up and really take control of their lives and move forward.
yeah, I think that you're nailing it, so to speak. So
Well, thanks.
I'm a fan. But today I wanted to just ask you some questions about, you know, what was your earliest perception that maybe you were gifted and or seeing things that other people weren't seeing or having experiences that other people weren't having? When is your earliest recollection of that?
That is a great question. And let me tell you why. When I was a kid, I was talking to my imaginary friends who I could see.
Hmm.
And I was having out of body experiences, which my brothers and sisters would tell me about. I was having experiences talking to people outside of the body, and yet I was in the room with them. And so for me, it was always very natural to have those kind of experiences. And I didn't know that it was any different from anybody else. And as time went on, I had an experience. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was I guess I was around 5 years old. My godmother had a trailer in Fenwick Island, Delaware, which is like a beach resort kind of area.
Hmm.
It was her summer house, her trailer down there. And we lived in Rehoboth, which was about a half an hour north of there. And she had gotten a phone call. She lived way north, up in the northern state of part of the state. And she had gotten a phone call that trailers in her park had been being broken into. So she called my parents. She said, "Can you come down, go down to our trailer and make sure it's okay?" So my parents loaded us all up into our VW bus back in the day, our VW bus, all six kids at the time, right? There were six of us. And we go on down. I was 5 years old. Now, when I went to my godmother's trailer, there was one thing I did. I went in on the porch, I opened the toy box, I grabbed a toy, and I went over to the beach, which was right across from her trailer. And I just play in the sand. So we get down there, and I did exactly what I always did. I went into there, I got my toy, I went over and played in the sand. And I came back over, and they were gone. They weren't there.
Oh,
They had forgotten me. They had left me behind. And I was very upset. And I remember this very clearly. I was 5 years old. I remember this as clear as day. I was sitting on their step just crying because they were gone. And
hmm.
now all of a sudden this little boy walks up, rides up on his bicycle, a blonde haired boy, and he says, "What's wrong?" I said, "They left me." He says, "You don't worry. They've already turned around. They're coming back." Now, how would he know that, right? How would he know that
Right,
that was the case? And he
right.
says, "I'm going to stay with you till they come back." And so we're sitting there, and he's trying to make me feel better. And then he says, "They're here now, so I'll see you later." And he goes behind the trailer and gone, and they come driving around the other side of the trailer, right? They never saw
Hmm.
him. They never saw
Right.
him. To me, he was as clear as day, right?
Hmm.
But so to me, I look at that as I've been seeing and experiencing things all my life.
Hmm.
But as I grew older, I became made wrong for it. My father was an
Right.
alcoholic, abusing parent, and he made me feel like I was the weird, odd duck, and that led into physical abuse and other things. But um, it wasn't until much later, actually, until I was about 19, when I started having an experience of realizing it was real, and that was
Hmm.
a very different experience too.
Interesting. And so would you describe that experience as an angelic interaction or some kind of other spiritual interaction?
The concept of angelic interactions is very interesting to me because people have so many ideas what angels are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in Hinduism, they have this concept of the sit and the sit satki. The sit is the consciousness of God or the consciousness of all. And the sit satki is the individual sparks of consciousness within the one God. So to me, I don't think of it in the terms of angels because of the fact there's so many variations of what that means.
Mm-hmm.
To me, we're all in this oneness of God, which is after my experiences in my 30s when I had very big spiritual experiences. I see the world in a very different way than most people see it. When I look at the wall, I see trillions of dots in motion.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't see depth.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's all one energy event in motion. And so when I look at this idea of angel encounters, I think within this energy that is the oneness of God, I think that we all have individual um, sentience. And
Mm-hmm.
in that individual sentience, we're very aware. And so to me, that was just another aspect of the oneness of the source and who had individual awareness coming and showing it to me. To label it as an angel to me would open up a whole can of worms for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
different people. Gabriel, Michael, all the different things. And I think it's actually far more simple than that.
So when you talk about this other consciousness, do you think that, so we'll just take the little boy, for example, was that another variation of yourself or an extension of yourself, do you think, or your higher
Yeah,
self
I
or?
think we're all in the oneness of God and we're all connected in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll to put it in a very different way. So, if I wanted to, I would use the word manifest is what people would say nowadays. Just create something is what I what I would say because
Yeah.
even manifestation has a whole can of worms it opens up too. But when I was going to create something in my life, I would say this is going to happen. So let's say I had an experience where I said I'm receiving perfect teeth because I had a broken tooth, and within 2 hours, I had someone tell me that I could get my tooth fixed for free and within a couple hours overnighted me a check. Right now, if I break that down and I look at that from the perspective of I declared that I was receiving this perfect tooth, then the oneness of God goes into creation because I'm the one who's choosing the creation. That person had no idea that I had put out an intention to have a perfect tooth when she told me that she could get me a perfect tooth for free.
Right.
Right. It just fell together. If I hadn't told her my tooth had broken off, she never would have told me that, which means we never would have had the conversation, which we never would have happened. So the oneness of God came together, and within 2 hours brought me the beginnings of a perfect tooth, and within 3 weeks I had a perfect tooth. So that young boy, I was crying, I was alone, and I was there in the oneness of God and that individual spark of consciousness, which is one with me and also individual. That's
Mm-hmm.
the dichotomy, the non-duality of the duality is responded because I was in that oneness of God. It's like when you walk up to somebody in the supermarket and you smile at them.
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, they're going to smile back.
Right.
That's because you put out something into their life and their life felt good and came back to you.
It's almost like the mirror smiled back at you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. And that has been my experience. That's a great way of putting it because that's been my experience. When
Uh,
I put out positive, I get positive tenfold.
yeah.
When I put out negative, I get negative tenfold. Right.
Yeah, I can attest to that one.
Well, but biblically, that was what was promised.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever you ask in God's name is granted, and God's name is I am.
Mm-hmm.
So when I am struggling, you're going to get struggle. I am
Mm-hmm.
suffering, I'm going to get suffering. I am joyfully living, I'm going to get joyfully living. And it sounds so flippant and easy and simple, but I've been doing this since 1999 and it's worked out just great for me.
I know you have your own, and I'll say, for lack of a better way to explain it, heavenly Amazon order system. I
Yeah,
understand.
it's exactly right. Exactly right. Well, if Like I said, the Bible says, whatever you ask in God's name, and granted, God's name is I am. You know, when I put out an I am statement, I know that I'm getting it. I have complete faith that I'm getting it. But when you look at creation itself, creation depends on one thing: present moment belief. You know, what you think you become, you create your world, Buddha, and thought by thought you forge your destiny, Krishna, as a man thinketh, so is he, Jesus. They're all saying the same thing about this present moment belief being the creation, right? Even in the Bible, he says it is your faith that heals you. And if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can ask a mountain to move and it'll move. Nothing's impossible
Hmm.
for you. He keeps saying over and over again, it's your present moment belief. And if you can create your present moment belief to be as simple as putting in an Amazon order, next thing you know, you're just putting in orders and you're not trying to watch a truck come.
Yeah.
You just shows up in your doorstep.
And that's fairly true. I mean, when I place an order, I usually get a notification it's coming, and I don't check it again until it's, well, when it's overdue, I check it. Like, wait, where'd my order go? But
Yeah,
otherwise,
right.
I believe it's
Right. And then
coming.
you'll look and you'll see that it's on track usually.
Yeah,
I mean, almost never does it not come.
yeah,
Right? It
almost
might be a
never.
day
That's true.
late. It might be a
Uh-huh.
day late sometimes.
Mhm.
But time is a linear construct that if we the more power we give time, the longer things take.
Interesting concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another concept that I'd love to ask you about is time.
Mhm.
Does time exist or doesn't it exist?
Time, like I said, it's a linear construct, which means someone came up with the concept of time and the way it works. And it probably started out back in the day, two guys sitting in a field, and the sun
Uh-huh.
came up and went over, and they said, let's call that a day. And
Yeah.
then when it was straight up, they called it noon, and then they broke it down to mid afternoons and mid mornings, and then they broke it down even further and further and further and created this construct of time. I believe that we only live in one moment, which means
Mm-hmm.
time cannot be linear in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we live in one moment, and that one moment is drawing into that one moment the experience of our belief about that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I talk about, being a shape, and the universe shows you the shape that you're reflecting, like
Okay.
a boat in a
Mm-hmm.
river, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, to me, time is irrelevant because to me, it's what am I being in the now, and if I'm being that, the rest of it comes and shows me what I'm being,
Mm-hmm.
not something and that's the biggest struggle that most people have is linear time because they think that they have to get to something. They spend
Mm-hmm.
their entire life trying to be good so they can go to heaven. They try to nowadays they're all trying to do all the methods and modalities so they can reach the 5D, right, in the
Oh yeah.
spiritual movement stuff. And I always remind them, I said, if your guru, teacher, or religion is talking about the past or focused on the future, they're not in the I am moment. They're
Correct.
not in the present. They're,
I
they're,
see
they're
that. Yeah.
putting you outside of your linear time frame, which will always make you have an unfulfilled life.
Because you can't go to the grocery store next Thursday today.
That's right, and that's actually a quote from my good friend Holly, who I just love and adore, and I've been stealing that line for years.
Uh, I think there's many of us who love Holly, and yes, and Holly, I have stolen that line now, and I use it quite frequently. So,
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
yeah,
It's
it's
a
a
great
great
when you
line.
find good material, use it.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I do. I also quote the great prophet Jelly Roll. So,
Oh yeah,
he
there
has
you go.
some,
I do Yoda. I use
yeah,
Yoda all the
I
time.
use I use Yoda once in a while too, but really lately it's been the great prophet Jelly Roll. He
There you go. Nice.
alchemizes. He's fantastic. So, yeah,
Great. Great.
yeah. Um, so thank you so much. Tell me also, how did it come about for you to have an understanding that you maybe knew Jesus in a previous life?
Oh, that's a can of worms. So let's get into it. um, Raised Catholic. My mom had her master's degree in liturgy, head of liturgical doctrine at our church, which meant that when the priest wanted to do a sermon, she had to pass it by. He had to pass it by my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was a Catholic boy, and
Mm-hmm.
my whole life raised Catholic. My mom, when I turned 18, my mom literally said to me, "John, spirituality is a personal journey. Go figure out what you believe." And I went off and I did that. That's why, if you look behind me, there's a green light behind her picture. That's
Mm-hmm.
because she gave me the green light to leave religion.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
why that light is there. So,
That's fantastic.
um, so I was studying spirituality. I was having more and more experiences because the more you release the limitations on experience, the more experiences you have. And limitations on experience come from doctrines, dogmas, religions, or even just what you learn from your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And and for me, my mom freeing me that way allowed me to start having all kinds of unique experiences. Well, I had gotten to the point after reading a book called The Celestine Prophecy. Uh,
Oh,
great book,
mm,
right? And people say it's horribly written. I say, oh, well, if you're critiquing the writing, you're missing the point, right?
yeah.
Because it's like there's a lot in that book. And I I started seeing the energy around people in the physical world, and I started seeing that people would call them auras. I never saw auras with color like they claim. I
Mm-hmm.
always just see the energy around people and things and plants and things. And I was at a party in Canada, and I was sitting in the room with a bunch of friends, and across the room was a Grammy nominated bagpipe band, which sounds like an oxymoron,
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
I was
They were
processing that as you said it. I'm like,
yeah yeah
okay.
they were called the Rogues, and they still are called the Rogues.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sitting there in the room, and I'm just watching the energies because one of the things is once you start seeing the energies, you start to see the interplay of energies. So if someone walks in the room who's dominating, you will see the people who are subjugated them throw energy to them. You'll
Mm-hmm.
literally see it flow to them. So I'm sitting there and I'm just watching the interplay of the room and I'm kind of exploring, what are the relationships in this room? And I'm scanning the room and suddenly I lock eyes with a woman on the far side of the room. Now I know that she's the wife of one of those band members and she's just staring at me. And I'm like, this is a little weird. She gets up, she walks across the room. She says, you walked with Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, I did. And then I was like, what did I just say? I'm crazy.
Yeah.
It fell out of but it fell out of my mouth that I had done it. I just somehow subconsciously knew I had done it. I was like, I'm not ready for this reincarnation thing. So I kind of blew it off and I went on my way. That was in Canada. I went to the Maryland Renaissance Festival and I set up my camp and I was there. And as I was setting up my camp, this big RV pulls in, parks directly across from me. The door opens and that woman steps out of that vehicle. I had met her in Canada and she just happened to be camped directly across from me in the campground at the next show. That's so crazy. So we set up a second reading. And the second reading, I was like, okay, because I'd never had a psychic reading. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it really wasn't a second reading. It was really the first reading. The first one was her blurting something out of the party.
Mm-hmm.
This next one was an actual reading. And in the middle of her reading, her voice changed, her eyes changed, her entire demeanor changed. And she says, do you see me? And I was like, no, because I knew it wasn't her, but I was
Mm-hmm.
looking at her. And, and she says, close your eyes and see. And I closed my eyes. And as I closed them, it was like they had opened up somewhere else. And
Mm.
my eyes were looking at sand. And I was
Mm-hmm.
looking at the back of my hand on the ground. And I could see things falling off my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked up, and the guy that I called Jeshua looked down at me and he
Mm-hmm.
was laughing. And he said, first of all, he laughed. Then he said, and this is where the origins of my YouTube channel name comes from, John of old, John of new. I love you. I've always loved you. I will always love you. I'm with you. I've always been with you, and I always will be with you. And then she
That's
started saying all
fantastic.
kinds of things that I don't really remember most of which, but
Uh-huh.
uh, years later in a regression, I remembered that moment, and that was the
Mm-hmm.
moment after his crucifixion when I
Oh.
saw him alive again. That's why I was on my face because I fell on my face in front of
Oh.
him,
Wow.
which was astounding, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I don't want to be the guy who thinks he's Napoleon. I don't want to do this. No, 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 no. Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, really kind of struggling with this concept. And I go up onto the festival site and I see a friend of mine who I've known since I was 20.
Hmm.
This is like I'm 30 now, so we've known each other for 10 years. And we sit there, hey, how you been? We're sitting there, what's your year been like? And we're sitting there talking. Out of the blue, she says, you know you were John the Beloved, right? And I
But
was
this is
like,
a different person.
that's an
Okay.
entirely different person, not even talking about spirituality.
Yeah.
She blurts this out. I'm like, oh God, no. Right.
Another one.
Right. So then I'm like going along, and I ran into a book called The Messengers. It was about a
Hmm.
guy named Nick Bunick who, under hypnosis, remember being the Apostle Paul.
Hmm.
And I'm reading this book, and there's all this stuff in there about 444s. Now, I had been seeing the number 444 like crazy. I don't know why that was, but I think maybe it was all part of the oneness of God. His numbers and my numbers kind of got into my consciousness.
Hmm.
Um, so I said, okay, I got a couple people now telling me that I was this person. So I'm reading this book and I find the name of one of his readers, and I call her out of the blue to set up an appointment to see because I wanted it completely blank. No one could, she wouldn't know who I was. I was calling out of the blue. I called to set the appointment up. I said, "Yeah, hi, I'd like to set up an appointment." She's, "Oh my God, you're John the Beloved." This is how it comes across. I'm like, "Oh," and she sets up the appointment, and like 3 weeks later, we do this appointment. And she goes all into my life. She explained how um, when I was 5 years old, I had something that was bigger than an out of body experience. It was more of a Fatima. She used the word Fatima experience, where the young girls saw the Virgin Mary.
Hmm.
And I said, no, I don't remember any of that. She says, well, you're going to have a validation of that in about 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks later, I'm out to dinner with my father and my brother, and we're having seafood. And we had my comedy show, Hack and Slash. We had just put up our new website, and there was a comment board on there, a forum. And he put on this really kind of funny, cryptic message. I knew Hack when he was, and he started listing all these weird things. And then right in the middle of it, he says, I remember the night when Hack was floating above his bed sheets. I was like, what's that mean? So I
Hmm.
said, Eddie, what's that mean? He says, you don't remember this? He says, no. He says, you're about 5 years old. You're pretty sick. You had a really high fever, and we were all in the room with you, and you suddenly said, I'm taller than all of you. I'm on the ceiling. I'm up
Hmm.
here. Hey, I'm up here. And then you started talking to somebody. We had no idea what you were talking about. And then suddenly you your fever broke and you were fine.
Wow.
That was me having that out of body experience with my brother telling me about it.
Hmm.
So then I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm walking along at a holistic festival where I was there to meet Nick Bunick, the guy from the book The Messengers. And I met him.
Okay. Yeah.
But we had a kind of weird recognition. It was nothing profound, really. But I walked through the area where all the readers were reading, and as I was walking by, a lady stopped her reading, runs out of her booth, leaves her client behind,
Hmm.
runs out, grabs me by the arm, and says, "You know, you're John the Beloved, right?"
Wow.
And this happened that there were 19 various psychics who told me this about this past
Wow.
life, and it was all spontaneous. I didn't, yes, I paid to go to a couple of them, but it wasn't like they knew who I was. It was just me
Right.
out of the blue coming. So then after that, the 19th, I was really kind of sick of psychics. I
Hmm.
was like, I'm okay. So I want something direct. I want something directly to me. If I'm supposed to do something for you, or if this is true, give me a direct sign. About
Hmm.
an hour later, my friend Greg comes in. He hands me a book. He says, John, you should check this book out. It was called Edgar Casey on the Millennium.
Hmm.
Now, Edgar Casey, he's pretty famous, right? And I'm reading this book. And on page 32, it says, John the Beloved will again be named John. And Edgar Casey said that in 1943. And
Hmm.
so I took that as a sign to go get a past life regression.
Hmm.
And when I did the smartest thing. If you're looking for a past life regression, do not do someone who learned it online. Do not find a doctor of hypnotherapy who does regressions, because the rest of them are doing just hypnosis based upon stage hypnosis, which is based upon suggestibility. The difference between stage hypnosis and hypnotherapy is one of them suggests things, one of them uncovers memory. And you need to find a true doctor of hypnotherapy to keep their own beliefs out of the equation. Anyway, so I found one of those in Virginia, and she regressed me to that lifetime. And I remembered that lifetime, and I remembered meeting the guy that I called Jeshua. And I remembered witnessing the crucifixion and
Hmm.
coming back with some pretty profound new beliefs.
Wow. That's an amazing story. That's really phenomenal.
And now you know why I continue to do the work. All of that wouldn't have happened if none of that would have happened. I wouldn't be so devoted to the work I'm doing now, because that to me was just proof to me that I'm doing the right thing, and it was
Uh-huh.
true. So much evidence to me. So many people saying it out of the blue.
So, do you see yourself as different than other people? I mean, do you believe everyone has had these experiences? Do you believe that we just don't remember them? We don't want to remember them? Because every time I hear your story, I'm like, I really want that to happen to me.
Yeah,
I really, really would love to have those experiences.
yeah.
When, some of my best experiences are my iPods show up that I'm convinced are lost, on my desk. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Well, I love the way you said that, because most people don't understand that there is no size in the infinite.
Correct. Yeah.
So we focus on, I can find the AirPods, but that's a small thing that you can easily find, right?
Hmm.
But like
Well,
creating
I
huge,
can't. That's why I have to believe it's a miracle.
see, but the thing is, for me, we create in every moment of our life.
Yeah.
Every
Uh-huh.
moment of our life is a creation, and whether we're creating good or bad, it's all coming from our present moment belief.
Hmm.
When you say I want this, you're saying I don't have it now. And
Hmm.
and that saying you don't have it now means you're not going to have it now, because that is your faith.
Hmm.
Whatever you ask for in faith, you receive.
Hmm.
So when I look at this experience, am I different from other people? I'm different in the regards that I've chosen to listen to it and act upon it.
Hmm.
You know, there's a famous Bernard Baruch quote that Dr. Seuss plagiarized. You know, be you and say what you feel, because those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind.
Hmm.
Right? I love that quote. But
Uh-huh.
when I stepped out and said, no, this is who I am, and I'm only speaking my truth and expecting nothing from anybody else,
Hmm.
then my life dramatically changed. But I don't think I'm unique. I think that I am someone who has chosen to be open to all possibility and all greater things. I think God is too big and too beautiful to be encompassed by any one school of thought or religion. But I also think God can be called universe or consciousness or yada yada, right?
Hmm.
Because the limitations of wording itself creates a problem. Um, when it comes to reincarnation, I've met multiple people who think they're John. I've met
Hmm.
multiple people who think they're Peter and Paul and George and Ringo.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Sorry. But I've also met 30 Mary Magdalenes,
Uh-huh.
30, over 31. So I don't know what reincarnation really is. I don't know if I'm just tapping into the oneness of God where all those experiences exist, or
Hmm.
whether I'm a single entity soul that's traveling like that. I
Right.
don't think it really matters. I think the
Hmm.
only thing that matters, it doesn't matter who you were, it only matters who you are
Hmm.
in the only moment you're conscious, and that's this moment. So
Hmm.
for me, I don't think I'm unique. I think I'm someone who's aware of my divinity,
Hmm.
and I really want to wake people up to their own so they can create and have those bigger experiences, right? And what did the Bible say? Jesus said, "Take heart, I've overcome the world."
Hmm.
Well, you don't say it, take heart to somebody unless you're expecting them to overcome the world as well.
Right. A good
Yes.
point.
Yeah. So he's telling them
So,
to take heart. You can do it.
I am doing it. It's unfolding before me right now. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
it
I
is,
saw
it's,
your book. You created that.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Oh, I forgot to ask you if you got my book.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's
Oh, good.
there go my glasses flying across the room. Hold on. That's funny.
So when you mention helping people find their divinity, tell me what ways that you do that for people.
Well, the easiest way to help someone find their own personal identity, or to find your own even, is to understand, number one, that 85 to 90% of every day you're in your subconscious mind.
Hmm.
And that means 85 to 90% of what comes out of your mouth is subconscious.
Hmm.
And your subconscious mind is a belief system, and what you believe you create. So the first thing to find your divinity, the first thing you need to do is find out what you're actually believing subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting about the subconscious, it's the underlying belief of all of our past experiences, which means your subconscious is always foundationed in your past. And if you are constantly creating from the beliefs of your past, you are constantly creating the same. You're in Bill Murray's Groundhog Day, believing
Mm-hmm.
something from your past. The way you change and the way you step into divinity is number one, to get very present,
Mm-hmm.
right? The subconscious mind is also an habitual mind. So you have to break the habit of thinking that way. And third, the subconscious mind is based upon threat assessment. We look
Mm-hmm.
at it, we're trying to protect ourselves from things because those things have happened in our past, which means the subconscious mind is fear-based. So the Buddha says the secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. So the way you, first of all, break the subconscious mind is to, first of all, realize what it is you're actually thinking. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I try to do is I'm talking to somebody, my ears are so tuned to present moment statements.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm talking to somebody, I'm listening to their present moment statements. Like earlier, when you said, I want to have that, that want sounded like a gong going off to me,
Mm-hmm.
because that want means you don't have it now, it means you're not creating it now. So
Mm-hmm.
when I'm talking to people, I'm listening to what their present moment declarations are, which is their present moment belief, which is the majority of time based in their subconscious belief.
Mm-hmm.
Then then we go to the concept, if it is a fear-based mind, then the first thing we have to do is we have to eradicate the fear. Like the
Mm-hmm.
Buddha says, the secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. But you have to realize that fear in the present moment is only an emotional reaction, but it's an emotional reaction to those past experiences or an expectation of something ahead of us. So it goes
Mm-hmm.
back to our linear time construct we talked about
Right.
earlier. It's a matter of drawing your time close, bringing your past up to here and your future right to here, and being firmly present
Mm-hmm.
and choosing to create a new present moment. And when you create that new present moment, here, the great part about that is that present moment is stored in memory right behind you. And then you create another one and it's stored in memory right behind you. You create another one, stored in memory right behind you. Now, right behind you, you have a whole new string of new present moment beliefs. And underneath that is a brand new subconscious belief growing.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you keep replacing your past experiences with positive present moments, your subconscious mind dilutes all that other stuff and it gets until it's moot and gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it's a matter to bring someone to their divinity is to bring themselves to the place where in the present moment they can create anything, and understanding that they are the creator of it, and that the
Mm-hmm.
universe, God, consciousness is the provider of our belief. We provide a
Mm-hmm.
belief and it is reflects the belief back to us. And so that's the quickest way to find divinity, is to show them that they are divine, that they are
Mm-hmm.
creating.
That they're created and they're divine. Therefore,
Yeah.
they are divine. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And
And
it's simple.
so,
It's really simple.
mhm.
The concept is simple. The
Yeah, yeah.
actions, the actions upon the concepts are will be as simple as you choose to believe they are.
It seems like it's replacing a new operating system. We've been
It is. It's
what
a
we
reboot.
it's a reboot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how you do that, some reboots are overnight, sometimes they're incremental, at 16.0, 16.1, 16.2.
Right, right. Well, and if you look at it biblically, the Bible says you must become as a child to enter the kingdom of you must be born again. Both of
Hmm.
those are saying there is no past behind you.
Hmm.
As a child being born again, you are literally there's no life experience. So it's a matter of coming back to a blank slate and realizing that you're the author of your life.
Hmm.
And that on the blank page, you can write a comedy or a tragedy. It's up to you, but I suggest comedies because they're much more fun.
I say to people the other day, I said, be the star of your own life.
Yeah.
And I said, I sat down at the pool the other day and I looked, I'm like, look at all these supporting actors they brought in for my life today.
There you go. It's
Look at all
great.
these
It's great.
extras they brought in, right?
And the more good you put out in the world, the more you get positive reinforcement for the good you do.
Uh-huh.
I went to Harbor Freight. Who ever thought you'd find something divine at Harbor Freight? Right?
Yeah.
I'm at the counter talking. This young man comes up to me and says, "Are you John Davis?" I go,
Hmm.
"Yeah." I says, "John of New?" He goes, "Yeah." "I'm so pleased to meet you." He says, "I was at a really dark place in my life and I found your videos and you completely changed my life."
Oh, that's fantastic.
And you know, that's the thing is if you're putting out good work and you know you're putting out good work and you're consciously making present moment actions. Like
Hmm.
earlier today, I sat down and I made 6 videos,
Wow.
right? And it was just
Yeah.
like easy to do because my intention is about creating something that empowers.
Yeah.
And when you're doing something you love and you're putting love into it, it happens fast and quick and easy and smooth.
Yeah.
You know,
That's fantastic.
yeah.
Um, yes, I still, when people say, I bought your book, I'm just like, I'm like, really? And I think, well, that is why you
Wrote it.
so that you could write it. And it still takes me a little off guard. And then someone will say, this is fantastic. I really got so much out of it. I'm like, really? I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
why. But still,
Because when you
so
wrote it, you were putting positive intention into it helping.
yeah, exactly.
And that was
Exactly.
all that matters. The people who needed your help found it and they're reading it.
Oh, that's the other thing I thought of the other day. I was like, if I only sell 50 copies because only 50 people needed to read it, then that's so be it.
Right,
It'd be
right.
fun if it'd be a lot of fun and I would love it if 2 million people found it and needed help
Yeah.
and found it
The,
helpful. But on the
and
other hand, it'll be what it'll be.
right,
So
right. And if
yeah.
you want to get into that whole I'm an author creating, you have to realize every author in the world does promotions, right? And
Hmm.
you know, buying ad time on Amazon will sell you a bunch of books. So
Oh, I've actually had that thought though. The first time someone said, they asked me and I said, "Oh, I'm an author." And I was like, I said it out loud. Therefore I
yeah,
am.
yeah,
It's very jolting a little bit,
yeah.
because you start to see
Felt
yourself
good though, didn't
different.
it?
It did.
Felt
I was
good
like,
that
I am an author. That's absolutely right. Yep.
that's exactly
Yeah.
right.
So
And guess what else you are?
what?
You're a YouTube influencer.
I am a YouTube influencer. I'm actually a social media influencer. I
There
am
you
on all
go.
platforms.
Oh, so you're better than me. I'm sticking with YouTube.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok and I have like almost I'm just a few followers away from 3,000 followers on
Nice.
TikTok. Yeah.
Nice. Are you doing
Yeah.
long form? TikTok's short form, right?
You can do both. You can do both. TikTok is in competition with long form, and so they like it when you do long form. But like most algorithms, if you're a short form, it'll just keep pushing you to short form. If you're long form, it pushes you to
Right.
long form. So it's kind of algorithm based. But
Right.
I try to do a little longer form in just creation, but I do a lot of lives.
Hmm.
So I do live, and people come into my room, and we talk about the subject of the week. And I have subscribers who pay $3 a month
Look at
and
you. Look
I
at
have a
you.
topic.
You're kicking butt.
I have a topic that I send a little newsletter to them. It's a topic. This week is shame. So, with the philosopher jelly roll, that happens to be why I brought that up. So, yeah, thank
Awesome.
you very much.
That's awesome.
You inspired me to do a lot of that, John. You really helped me talk me through it a little bit. And so,
Did you find your divinity?
I am divine. Yes. Did I
Yeah.
find it? It wasn't, I'm not sure it was lost.
Okay, there
I
you
just,
go. There you go.
yeah. Yeah,
So
I found it.
what changed?
Um, Gosh, it's not super simple. I started seeing myself differently. I started thinking about myself differently. I started realizing I loved myself a lot. That was part of that book. And um, also, it removed limitations.
Yeah.
When I grew up, there were a lot of limitations. Some of them are a very loving way. They didn't want me to be hurt, so they didn't want me to have my expectations.
Right.
Some of them were not because for other reasons, but as I've removed those expectations and said, hey, why not me? Why can't I be an author?
Right.
Why can't I be a YouTube influencer? Why can't I be a social media, um, influencer or a social media star? Why not? Why not me?
Why not? Why not you?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It can be me too, and so I am now, and I am learning. I'm learning how to do that, and it's a lot of fun. I made a lot
And
of friends too. So
and I love the fact that you not only consciously chose to do it, but you married your thoughts, words, and deeds behind it.
yes,
You
thank
you
you.
took
Yeah.
actions based upon your faith, what you chose to believe.
Well, and that's something through, which is the other question I'll ask you, is other ways that you teach or help people through this. So I believe that you have another way, and that's through your coaching
Hmm.
or your one-on-one sessions. The
Yeah.
one-on-one sessions, I would call them
Well, the
coaching, but
one-on-one sessions are really important because to me, especially because, I do a lot of videos and I talk about a lot of things, but when I'm talking to one person in particular, bam, straight into them, I am focused solely on what they are believing, as opposed to trying to put out a message to a gigantic audience. They're all believing different things, right? You hope to tap into some belief that the majority of them are having, but when you're talking to one person, you're hearing exactly what they're saying. They're telling you exactly what their present moment beliefs are with their subconscious words coming out of their mouth. And
mhm,
you can actually make the most significant changes when you're focused on one. And so if you go to my website, you look at my johnofnew.com, there's a line on there that says changing the world one person at a time.
mhm,
And that one person at a time is important because I believe that you can't save the world, but you can make the world, your part of the world so bright that the world chooses to save itself around you. But it
yeah,
always does come down to their choice. They have to
yeah,
choose it. But when
yeah,
you get to have that one-on-one session with somebody, and you know, people ask me, how do I see my one-on-one sessions? And I say, everybody on earth is in the eye of their own hurricane and they can't see past their storm. You know,
correct. They
my
can't
job is
sometimes.
to be the spotter plane on the outside saying, hey, if you come this way, it's easier.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And so, and then what I'm also radioing to them is the way you calm your storm is to calm the eye, come back
hmm
to your own stillness, your own peace and serenity so that the storm can be calm around you. Let go of the stimulus of the world and just look at it as information.
hmm
And when you release the emotional fear-based reactions and just go, oh, you have officially turned the other cheek. And
It's
now
interesting.
you're there.
Yes, I agree with that 100%, and I appreciate that because that is what you teach in your one-on-one sessions. What can people expect in your one-on-one sessions?
Let me start with what they can't expect.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not going to tell them their future.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to placate them for something that they want to believe.
hmm
An hour before every session, I sit down and I write. And the way I write is I sit down, I write the person's name on a sheet of paper. I completely exhale and I set my consciousness aside. And whatever comes through, comes through.
hmm
I don't judge it, as I think I've told you many times. I don't judge it, right? Whatever comes in, comes in. And I just put it out on paper. Then when I get on the session, I read it to them. Probably 70% of the time, they probably don't understand what I just read.
hmm
And then we have an hour-long conversation, and I read it again, and they go, "Oh my God, I completely get it now."
Yeah.
Because when they first hear it, they're not ready to fully hear it. But what I do is I read it to them so that they have that as the thing up front. Then we have a conversation, and by the end, they're going, "Oh, I totally get that now. I totally
So
understand what this
really,
means."
people get 2 hours of your time in a sense because they
Oh
get
yeah,
the written. You've spent the time prepping to meet with them, and
oh
then
yeah,
you spend an hour in session with them.
yeah. And the other thing is that if I'm working with somebody and I can tell that if I did 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, I would make a huge breakthrough.
Uh-huh.
I just do the 10 or 15 more minutes. I
Yeah.
just keep going
hmm
because they're it's like riding a wave, as you're working with somebody, you can see them almost coming to that place where they're about to go, yes, I have this, right? But if they're not there in an hour, I'm not stopping because I know that I'm right there at the crest.
Right.
And the thing doesn't end until we hit the other side, right?
Uh-huh.
And so to me, it's the sessions are, first of all, they're divine spaces for me because I don't when I write these things, I don't think it's me who's writing them.
Uh-huh.
I set myself aside and I'm listening with the focus on your name. So I think it's your higher self that's talking.
Uh-huh.
So when I write it down, I feel like I'm just dictating what you're saying to me. And then by the time we get to the end of it, it's like, they're like, yes, I totally get that now because of this, and this, right? And, these things, I've had clairvoyance, I've had clairaudience, clairsentience, I've had mediumship in these writings, but it's because they don't limit it. Whatever comes
Mhm.
through, comes through. I
Mhm.
don't care what the process is. I think the second we start to put limitations on things is literally limiting the experience that we could have.
Right.
And so I'm open to it all.
Right.
And so at the end of the session, I usually have made a new friend,
Mhm.
right? We're laughing,
Mhm.
we're joking, we're having a good time usually. There have been a few
Yes.
that weren't so friendly, a
Uh-huh.
couple. But of the over 1,000 I've done now, there's only been a couple that have been that
Mhm.
way. I come away feeling like I've just made a new friend in some part of the world somewhere, and I feel like they are so much brighter. I've had the beautiful experiences of finding people at their most desperate hour
Mhm.
and talking them out of doing the most desperate things,
Yes. Mhm.
and then bringing them to a space of not only am I no longer desperate, I'm empowered and creative.
Yeah.
And look at the goosebumps rushing on my arm, right? That is more rewarding than any other thing I could do in life, is to realize that I've made a change in someone who really couldn't see the light and now
Mhm.
are the light.
That's phenomenal. That's
Yeah.
phenomenal. That's so, that's
Well,
fantastic.
you've had sessions with me. What was your takeaway from my weirdness?
Um, well, and I have been in my lifetime an evangelical Christian and very staunch believer in the literal word of God. And I was already evolving past that when I met you.
You were
And so
deconstructing already.
I was deconstructing, absolutely. But with you, um, I do feel like you're a good friend,
Yeah,
I really do. I'm like, oh yeah, I love John. And
yeah. We
and
have a
we
great time.
yeah, we have a great time. And I think after maybe the first session, we probably laugh more during the session than otherwise. Sometimes we laugh at the blooper reels of my life that I'm sharing, but that's okay. That's what they're there for. Um, and so I just enjoy, and I love your stories. They're really empowering and they open up doors of hope and opportunity. You're like, oh, and I say this, if it can happen to John, it can happen to me. Where when I first met you, I would have said, oh, well, that's because John's special.
Hmm,
And now I'm like, no, if it can happen to John, it can happen to me.
right,
And,
right.
um,
I'm the son of a plumber.
yeah,
Right.
I'm the daughter of a bartender. So there you
There you
go.
go. There you
You
go.
know, so that's what I found. And really through it, we have found a path for me, um, to do some things that I really wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for as they evolve before my very eyes, they're
Yeah.
evolving. So
See, but that's a testament to you stepping into your power.
yeah,
I am doing this. I am creating this way, and now you're an author and
yeah.
an influencer, right?
There was no way that when we first started, I would have saw being an author on my lifetime bingo card. But there it is. Check.
Lifetime bingo card. Well, there's a whole video on that one. Is it
Also,
random or do you have the secret card?
I also didn't see being a social media person, but
Right.
it checks a lot of boxes for me of things that I
Yeah.
like to do. So,
Yeah. It also it frees you up. It's like a lot of people I talk to, they struggle because they're trading hours for money.
mm-hmm,
They're putting a lot of hours into a job they don't particularly like.
mm-hmm,
And a lot of the times I'll talk to somebody who's really in a job they hate,
mm-hmm.
doing all the
Yeah.
stuff. And so many of my sessions end up me giving them a complete business model.
Yes.
But,
Oh, isn't that interesting? I thought that was just unique to me.
oh no, there have been some people. There was one guy who I was had a session with, and I don't even know how he afforded the session because he was homeless. He was living in his car.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of our session, he went over and he started creating the plan to publicly show how he's going to get himself back to a house. And he started creating this whole new plan and this whole new social media, blah, blah, right? And then I had somebody else who wanted to do farming. And
Mm-hmm.
I created the whole plan of a collective, educational program for kids to come to the farm, and creating. I literally, and it was just like it wasn't me creating it per se. It was me listening to what they loved
Mm-hmm.
and showing them how they can monetize what they love.
Yes, exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly it, because people they think I need to have this money to keep the roof over my head. And one of the most empowering things someone can do is figure out what they love, figure out a way to monetize it, and then to declare that they are joyfully transitioning,
Yeah.
right? That joyfully transitioning is huge because people want to think it's this or that. Quit my job and do this. No, no, no. You can easily move into this new phase.
No, in fact, to be frank, I actually am joyfully transitioning also. And, I did used to love my job. I really
Mhm.
did. And more, I find that I love this more than that. And so that's part of the transition. Some monetization from this decreased as this increased, not equally yet, but it's increasing. I mean, I actually get some money from TikTok,
Yeah.
and the book. I've had, 2 checks come in from the book. And so, oddly, I'm just like, okay, well, this is the transition. And it's at moments you're white knuckling it through the transition. You're like, oh, this is really gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But
just keep
what you just
going.
said, is powerful. You said this is the transition.
Hmm.
Acknowledging that it is happening develops your faith. It
Yeah.
develops your ability to believe it. And the
Yeah.
more you believe in the present moment, the more it shows up in your life.
Yes. Yes. And it is showing up. And um, sometimes I want to say, well, I'm not doing this on this platform and it's happening more on this platform, but it should be happening here. And I'm like, stop. You don't get to say how. Just let it
Yeah.
unfold,
Let go
right?
of the how. Let go of the how.
Just
You
let
know,
it
I
unfold.
I have two video channels. I have the John of New channel and I have the Recovering Catholic channel.
Hmm.
John of New the John of New channel is like the little engine that could. It just chugs along, doesn't grow huge super fast.
Yeah.
It's growing monthly, right? Covering Catholic channel, I had 3,000 new subscribers this month,
Oh,
right?
wow.
It's
Yeah.
like boom. It's like I have one channel, the John of New channel, which has been 5 years old. It has 30,000 subscribers.
Hmm.
Recovering Catholic just crossed 16,000.
Oh, wow.
So it's like it all depends on, you don't know which one's going to do what, right?
Right.
The 16,000 subscriber channel
Hmm.
makes me more ad revenue than the other one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. Because that channel, because of its name, the Recovering Catholic, it's a controversial channel.
Yeah.
And so people come there and argue, right? Right. And I clean them out. I wipe them
Yeah.
out. If you can't be loving, you can't be here.
Yeah.
Can't play by the rules, you can't swim in the pool.
Yeah.
So, but I had no idea that this past I had one video 2 weeks ago that went to, right now it's at 57,000 views.
Uh-huh.
And I have another one that's 38,000 views.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
And it's just boom, 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 and it just has just taken off. Now, I had no idea it was going to happen that way.
Hmm.
Right. Here's the other thing. I'm putting out 5 videos a month on John of New. I'm putting out one video a week on that channel.
Hmm.
And it's making me more money than the 5 videos on
Isn't
John
that
of New.
interesting? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, and oddly, I'm having a different experience on YouTube, but I believe YouTube will take off when it's ready to take off.
Yeah.
And your commitment level to posting videos on YouTube, I'm maybe averaging one video a week. One or two at best.
Hmm.
There's a lot. I seem to do better with the short reels that I do.
Yeah.
So, it's getting there slowly but surely. It's just
Yeah.
chugging away.
How long
TikTok
is
is a little more quick.
how long has it been?
Oh, I think I started in YouTube in May, and I started on TikTok, and I started on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all in May.
Uh-huh.
And then in July, someone kept bugging me about TikTok. They kept saying, your stuff is good for TikTok. Your stuff is good for TikTok. And I was like, "Ugh, I don't know. I went on TikTok, and so that's taken off a little bit. So all the
So
platforms are doing
are you
okay.
posting the same on both places?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But TikTok has the live, and I haven't mastered the live yet on YouTube. So, because I think I would like to do some live stuff on YouTube too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, um,
Yeah.
so it's
And
just it's fun.
if you use I know we're talking technical stuff here. I don't know if
Yeah.
this is good for your interview or not, but if you use StreamYard
Uh-huh.
when you're live streaming in YouTube,
Yeah.
anybody that you bring on as a guest
Mm-hmm.
can simultaneously live stream on their channel too
For YouTube.
for YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
like
was
when
trying to find a way to stream on multiple platforms at one time.
yeah, I'm sure there's ways. I've
There's
never
there's something, but I read through the directions and I'm like, embedded this and that. I need this
a, a,
UL. And I'm like,
ask ChatGPT.
mm-hmm.
It'll tell you how.
I love ChatGPT. It's a good friend of mine.
Me too. I love
Chatty
it.
G. Chatty G is her
It
name.
keeps my thoughts organized.
Mm-hmm. And it's starting to understand my voice and who, kind of who I am as Nurse Adrienne, that
Yeah,
personality.
yeah.
It also
And
came up with some ideas like my weekly newsletter is called The Prescription.
no, great.
So your weekly prescription from Nurse Adrienne. And when I get ready to go live, I say, "Oh, Nurse Adrienne's going on duty in 30 minutes. See you in 30 minutes."
Nice,
So
nice. So you're holding on to the brand. That's nice.
yeah, yeah. So it is
That's
kind
great.
of nice. Yeah, so far.
Right. So have any other questions you want to throw into this thing?
No, I think we have about an hour's worth of content, and so I think that'll be fantastic.
Yep.
And what else? I was going to tell you one more thing. Saturday, I'm going to, I believe, buy an RV. I've looked at it once. And then I said, no, it's too long. It's not right. It needs too much, blah, blah, blah. Well, the guy still hasn't sold it.
Hmm.
And so he offered it to me for even less money. And I'm like, and then I was finally like, um, well, you know what? This thing has come up like 3 times for me. And I think this is the universe saying, this is the one. I'm
Hmm.
holding it for you. Could you get over here and buy it? This guy needs the money.
Right,
Okay,
right.
okay. So,
Yeah. See,
yeah.
you just said something perfect.
What?
You're looking for an RV. This guy needs the money.
Yeah.
That's the oneness of God in play.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is someone else could show up with the money, but I think that this one for some reason has been picked out for me. So I'll just go
Yeah.
get it. Yeah.
You go get it. There you go.
Yeah. And so
Act. Put water in the jugs.
exactly. Exactly. You have to put water in the jugs to get the wine.
That's
Um,
exactly right. That's exactly
yeah.
right.
So that's the other thing. I'm picking away at this. But I have a full-time job and I'm in college. And so I wish that, not I wish, if I was doing it full-time, maybe it would evolve a little bit faster, but the transition is the
Can I tell you
transition.
something? You
Yes,
started in
yes.
May and you've got 3,000 subscribers on
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah,
You're doing better than the average.
yeah. Well,
So
yeah, some people go
so
faster, but whatever. I'm not going to compare myself.
you're
I'm
doing
doing
better
fantastic.
than the average, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When Alex Ferrari brought me on his channel,
Uh-huh.
I had already been doing YouTube for 2 years
Mm-hmm.
and I had 4,000 subscribers,
Uh-huh.
right? I'd already been doing it for 2 years and I had 4,000 subscribers,
Wow.
right? The day after I had 13,000. So, so day after the
And
first interview,
now you're at 35?
30. I just
30.
crossed 30. Yeah.
Fantastic.
But it's ticking up,
Mhm.
so I'm figuring some things out that will, and then of course the recovering Catholic channel growing like it is. It's interesting because I put out videos that are very controversial to Christians
Uh-huh.
and Christians hate me,
Yeah.
right? But when you look at the likes and dislikes,
Mm-hmm.
like that one that has 57,000 views,
Yeah.
I get over 3,000 likes and
Mm-hmm.
100 dislikes,
Oh, wow.
right?
Interesting. Yeah.
So there's still a lot of people who are deconstructing and are finding, because every one of my videos talks about these are the things that you've been struggling with, and here's the way to be more loving. Every video is the same format.
This is funny because the other person that I'm going to interview later this month is an author and spiritual mentor, Logan Barone,
Okay.
and he also is deconstructing religion.
Yeah. So you want me to give you, let me give you the way to get a big interview.
How?
So go on to Google and search Neil Donald Walsh.
Oh yeah, I love him. Yeah.
Okay, but listen to me when I say this.
Okay.
Use his contact form and say, I'd love to talk to Neil about his latest book.
Okay.
You will be contacted back within 2 days by his assistant, who is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And Neil will say yes
I love it.
because
Okay.
he says yes to everybody. I've interviewed him
Aw,
twice.
really?
Yeah.
He's fantastic. I
Yeah.
would
If
be
you
so honored. Yeah.
go over to the John of New channel, to the Recovering Catholic channel, hour-long video of me and Neil talking. Go
Mm-hmm.
find the Spirit Cafe that I did with Tamara Zoner years ago.
Uh-huh.
Interviewed him on there. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, and I told Alex how to get a hold of Neil,
Uh-huh.
Alex
Okay.
Ferrari. So, yeah.
I'm gonna do one thing. So, John, thank you so much for your time. I'm really honored that you could take the time and be on my channel. And thank you I'm a new creator, I'm a new content social media host. And so I just really appreciate that you taking the time. Your work is fantastic. And I look forward to seeing more and more of it. So thank you so much.
Oh, and thank you. And before we go, let me offer your audience something.
Okay.
If they would like to get one of those private sessions with me, I will give Andrea the $50 discount coupon to share with your audience. And Adrienne, I want to say Andrea. Why did I say Andrea?
I'm
I will
sure I
give,
have been her in one lifetime. So,
yeah,
yes.
I will give Adrienne the link to the discount so your audience can get that discount, $50 off one of my private sessions.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I think I've been to multiple sessions with you, but I think I've used two different coupons.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Super.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I
you're so
appreciate your
welcome.
time, and I will probably see you in a week or so. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, great. So great. Thank you. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.